The Saints team. I hate the Saints team. And I don't hate many teams. I am a man of love, as everyone on the show knows. I
Yeah.
am an optimistic man, except for when I go over the worst top five. But the Saints team, like, you look on paper, you're like, okay, we have Elvin Kamara, we have Chris Olave, we got this Jawan Johnson guy who always making plays. Defense, there's a lot of older players that you respect, Cam Jordan and whatnot. And then there's smudged within that Derek Carr, who they picked over Lamar Jackson. And you're like, wow. And you have Dennis Allen. That dude couldn't inspire anybody at this point.
Bro, the Dennis Allen walk to the locker room, like you pointed out at halftime, and he was just walking like this. He had like the flimsy wrist, and he was kind of like walking like a suburban mom who's like getting out of her 1980s Cadillac about to put on a fur. And then you talk about Derek Carr, though, but you mentioned like Chris Olave being a good thing. How about that 3rd and 5 where Chris Olave just dropped the ball there? So you have these situations where Derek Carr does get some of the blame, but Derek Carr has been banged up this year. And is it completely his fault? Is it due to injuries? We don't truly know. And then this is a team that also, they have like 3 good tight ends. Like, one thing the Saints can do is draft really good corners, draft defensive linemen, and draft really good tight ends. It's been nice to see Jimmy Graham getting involved the past 2 weeks, kind of that ageless wonder there, playing his last game in New Orleans. But you're right. This is one of those frustrating teams where they're like the Broncos. They're like the Steelers. They're like the Patriots. You just lost to Ben Roethlisberger. You just lost to Peyton Manning. You just lost to Tom Brady. And they're kind of just in this in-between where you had those really competitive rosters built around them. But now it's like, where do we go from here? And especially coaching-wise, the Patriots have Belichick. Broncos have Sean Payton. And the Steelers have Mike Tomlin. So you at least have some continuity and some hope there. But Dennis Allen, like Mr. Bedford mom walking to the locker room there,
Mr.
Stepdad there, Mr. sits down when he pees, Mr. goes to DeWalt and then asks how to buy a drill or where to find them. He doesn't even know what he's looking for in the hardware store. Dan Campbell walks into a hardware store and he is the hardware store. That man doesn't even need any instructions on how to do it. He just walks in there and gets the job done.
Yeah. So the Saints team, especially when you think about the future, when they have $84 million over the cap next year, that's going to be a nightmare to deal with. Michael Thomas, I know he's been out of the team for a little bit of time. So this team's just crumbling fast, and Derek Carr's definitely not helping them by any means.